In the deserts of Tunisia in early 1943, American troops lay shattered and leaderless after a crushing defeat at Kasserine Pass. In just 10 days, one man would sweep into the U.S. Second Corps headquarters, purge dozens of officers, rebuild shattered morale, and turn retreat into offense, setting the stage for victory at El Ghouta. We'll follow Major General George S. Patton Jr.'s ruthless crackdown, his partnership with Omar Bradley, and the dramatic transformation of an army on the brink. So if you like stories like this, like and subscribe for more. March 6, 1943. The headquarters of Second Corps in North Africa was a picture of despair. Officers shuffled through dim corridors, their uniforms rumpled and their heads down. Newspapers across the world carried images of American soldiers surrendering to the Germans. The bloodiest week American forces had endured in the Desert War had just ended in disaster at Kasserine Pass. Entire units had broken and run. The name of Major General Lloyd Fredendall, commanding Second Corps from a bunker 70 miles behind the front, was whispered in tones of blame. Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Allied Commander in North Africa, wasted no time. He relieved Fredendall and called in the one officer he trusted above all others, 57-year-old Major General George S. Patton Jr. Patton arrived in his gleaming helmet and polished boots, revolvers holstered at his sides. His stare alone made seasoned commanders shift in their chairs. Eisenhower's orders were blunt. Restore discipline, restore aggressiveness, and restore order immediately. Within the hour, Patton issued his first command. Every man in Second Corps must wear his helmet and full combat gear at all times. No exceptions. The first officer relieved of command was caught wearing fatigue trousers with no steel pot on his head. 2 decades of service ended with a curt, "Pack your bags." Word spread like wildfire. By nightfall, the headquarters staff looked like a parade ground detail, each man standing tall, helmets strapped, web gear snug. Patton's next insistence was on military courtesy. Every soldier would salute every officer without fail, and officers would return the salute crisply. It wasn't flattery, it was accountability. He gathered his senior staff that evening and laid out his philosophy. It wasn't the rifles that failed at Kasserine Pass. It was leadership. Poor leaders breed poor soldiers. He promised swift justice for any lapse, knowing fear could sharpen performance. On March 7th, Patton climbed into his Dodge command car and drove to forward positions. At the 1st Battalion outpost, the commander was absent, tucked safely at the division command post. His executive officer couldn't even tell Patton where his companies were deployed. Patton relieved the colonel on the spot and appointed the XO as acting commander, warning him, "If I don't know your locations by dawn, your history too." A mile down the road, a company commander was holed up half a kilometer behind his forward platoon. "I need to see my men," he explained weakly. "If you can't lead from the front," Patton snapped, "you're not fit to lead at all." The commander was immediately sent back to rear echelon. For the next 3 days, Patton swept across the front, visiting every battalion headquarters. Officers who couldn't answer simple questions, "How many tanks? Where's your OBJ line?" found themselves on the road home. Others were praised, their names noted for future promotion. Major General Orlando Ward, of the 1st Armored Division, stiff-backed and alert, earned early recognition. He would later replace discredited commanders or lead crucial assaults. Meanwhile, Patton launched an intensive training program. He transformed the defensive posture of American armor into a doctrine of aggressive maneuver. Tanks drilled on rapid breakthroughs. Artillery units were timed to fire within minutes of a request, rather than hours. Infantry and armor practiced combined arms assaults daily. Infantry riding shotgun on Shermans, then dismounting to clear trenches and bunkers. Patton's mantra was simple. Hit them before they hit you. Hit them hard. Keep moving. Back at headquarters, Major General Omar Bradley, sent by Eisenhower as an observer during the Kasserine disaster, became Patton's deputy. Bradley's clear-eyed reports had helped secure Patton's appointment, and now Bradley handled the endless staff work so Patton could focus on tactics and leadership. The two men, one flamboyant and profane, the other soft-spoken and meticulous, formed a balanced command team. By March 15th, after 9 days of firings, promotions, and non-stop drills, Second Corps looked nothing like the force that had crumbled at Kasserine. Officers and enlisted men marched with purpose. Jeeps roared down desert tracks, headlights cutting through the dust. Patrols probed enemy lines daily, probing weaknesses, building confidence. Psychological barriers cracked as small victories accumulated. A captured German forward post here, an intercepted supply convoy there. Intelligence began reporting American troops as aggressive, unpredictable, and confident. Hardly the easy prey they had been in February. On the morning of March 17th, at 0530 hours, Second Corps launched its offensive toward El Ghoutar. A massive artillery barrage pounded German positions for 30 minutes. Then, in a choreographed assault, infantry advanced under tank cover, engineers smashed minefields, and artillery shifted fire in lightning-fast succession. By midday, the lead division, a unit once routed at Kasserine, had penetrated 6 miles of enemy defenses and occupied El Ghoutar ahead of schedule. German commanders, expecting another collapse, scrambled to counterattack. On March 23rd, their panzers rolled in waves towards Second Corps' new defensive line. But this time, American artillery crews lay in wait. Anti-tank guns were sighted at close range, infantry dug in with confidence. When German tanks charged, they were met with an iron wall of shell fire. 30 enemy tanks lay smoking on the battlefield, the attack thrown back in ruins. The hard lessons of Kasserine had been learned in blood and sweat, and the results spoke volumes. By early April, Second Corps had advanced over 50 miles, liberating towns, seizing supply dumps, and routing retreating Axis forces. The divisions that once fled in panic now fought with coordinated fury. Patton's brutal purge had cost dozens of officers their commands. Some sent back to stateside training posts, others quietly reassigned to non-combat duties. Many were honorable men, whose administrative skills had not translated to frontline leadership. For them, the Desert Purge was a career death sentence. No charges were ever filed. Their records simply noted "relieved for cause" and moved on. But for the officers Patton retained and promoted, the message was clear. Performance was everything. Courage, decisiveness, and competence under fire were rewarded with higher rank and greater responsibility. Those who excelled under Patton would go on to lead troops in Sicily, Italy, and eventually France. On April 15th, Patton was summoned away to prepare the 1st Armored Corps for the invasion of Sicily. Omar Bradley assumed command of Second Corps, pledging to maintain the harsh standards set by his predecessor. The culture of accountability and aggression stuck. Second Corps fought valiantly through the Tunisian campaign's final battles in May 1943, then spearheaded assaults in Sicily and mainland Italy with equal ferocity. Patton would later command the 7th Army in Sicily and the Third Army in France, earning fame for his bold advances across Europe. Yet the lesson of North Africa, the ruthless discipline, the swift relief of underperforming leaders, the focus on aggressive tactics, remained central to American doctrine, far beyond the desert sands. Was Patton's purge fair to every officer he dismissed? Debatable. But did it forge an army capable of standing toe-to-toe with the Wehrmacht? Unequivocally, yes. At Kasserine Pass, the American foot soldier faltered under leadership that had never been tested. At El Ghouta, he advanced with machine gun nests clattering overhead, his faith in his officers and in himself restored by the general who demanded nothing less than victory. If you'd like more stories like these, please like and subscribe.